Hey guys, it is Brent. We are here live. It is what time? It is 2:41 here on Monday, coming from beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. Saying hello to you wherever you are in the world today. We're going to be talking about the law of attraction today. I'm going to be giving you some tips on frequency attunement. We're going to talk about that. The number one question we've been receiving lately is actually about the law of attraction, about manifestation. So I'm going to go into all of that. And if you have any questions or comments and you want me to touch on those, just drop them into the comments below and we will get to them live. Okay. So any questions or comments, just drop them into the comment box down there. All right. So hopefully you're having a great start of your week. Hope you had a great weekend. So we're going to talk a bit about the law of attraction. We're going to talk about frequency attunement. And if you don't know, of course, law of attraction, that means that you can attract what you want in life. Actually, you can attract what you don't want too, obviously. And it's wherever you give your energy, wherever you give your focus and your attention to. Because you're constantly putting off vibrations of energy. Everything in this universe is energy. Me and you and this desk and the wall and the house, everything. All vibrations of energy. And these vibrations can be picked up and they can be received by animals and, of course, by other people. That's why you always hear people say, oh, he's got good vibes, or, she gives off bad vibes. You're constantly giving off vibrations, literally. So if you're feeling excited or enthusiastic or passionate or joyful or abundant, prosperous, relaxed, or peaceful, well, that's what you're giving off. You're giving off those positive vibrations. On the other hand, and for most of us in this dog-eat-dog world nowadays, we're giving off anxiousness, worry, confusion. We're sad, we're hurt, we're lonely, we're resentful, we're guilty, we're disappointed, we're frustrated, we're overwhelmed, we're stressed out. And guess what we're giving off? We're giving off all those negative vibrations. Now, the law of attraction states that the universe is always responding. And it's by giving you more of whatever you're vibrating. That's why you don't get what you want. Obviously, you get what you are, right? So you can want a Ferrari. Those are just daydreams without putting in the second part of the law of attraction. So we're going to talk about frequency attunement as we move down further today. All right. But again, the universe doesn't care whether it's good or bad. You just imagine, like a fertile field of soil, and the land doesn't care if you plant poison or you plant roses. It doesn't matter to the soil. And that's the same thing with the universe. It doesn't matter if it's negativity or positivity. That's what you're getting back. Now, if you saw the movie The Secret, they explain this in great detail, but they don't usually go into the other step. Again, that's the action step that's always missing, right? So you got to be careful about your vibration. You got to be careful about the people you hang around with. You got to be careful about the negative things that you do. Because most of the time, 95% of the time, we are not conscious of what's going on. It's our subconscious mind that's running the show. So that means we have no idea of the vibration that we're putting out. Now, you're simply responding to things outside of you, right? In the outer world. Current events and the news and how people treat you and how much money you're making and how your children are doing in school, whatever. And you have feelings about those things, whether negative or positive, right? Well, what you're doing, you're simply responding unconsciously to what happens all around you, to your programming. When you're first born into this world, you don't have a religion, you don't have a name. That's all given to you. You don't have a belief system. It is all ingrained in you by repetition. We are trained the same way you train a domesticated animal, because that's what we are. We are domesticated by the people around us when we're small. And so whatever their belief system is, you can damn well be sure that it's going to be ingrained into us. And of course, many people break that later on, but many people don't. And they go through their entire life. They don't realize that they've had a choice. And to be unconscious is the worst, because you have no idea that you're doing it, right? You never really understand your current situation because you never see it for what it really is. And that's why our lives never seem to change much. We always seem to be getting more of the same thing. We're attracting to us more of the things we don't want. Think about those relationships and think about how many times you see someone and they're with the same type of person over and over and over again. Horrible people, verbally abusive, mentally abusive, physically abusive, whatever. That is a pattern. That thought became a thought pattern. That thought pattern became a belief pattern. And then we lived it. That's what happens. We get caught in this trap. Let me explain how it works. First, you observe what you currently have and what you're currently receiving in your life, right? You call this reality. You respond to what you observe with a feeling, positive or negative, about what's going on around you. And it then gives off that vibration. Now, the law of attraction then responds to this vibration and brings you more of the same thing, more of what you are vibrating. This cycle keeps repeating over and over until you choose to change it, because no one else can do it. No one has that power unless you give it to them, because it's yours. It's a God-given birthright. We all have this unbelievable untapped power inside of us. So what does this mean? It means you're just a victim. You are a victim of your own lack of awareness. And most people don't understand how these laws work. This is back 1940s and 50s with Neville Goddard. And as we move through the decades and up through The Secret and, on and on, these things are there because they work. But the thing is that you never receive all of the parts, unfortunately. So what is it all about? It's about the process of intentional creation. It is possible to get out of this vicious cycle, of rinse and repeat over and over and over again, and constantly creating what you don't want, what you already have and you don't want more of. We can never get enough of the things we don't want. A drug addict is killing himself, never can get enough. An alcoholic, a food addict, a pornography addict, whatever. You can never get enough of what's bad for us, right? It's a very simple process, though, to get out of this vicious cycle, okay? First, you have to identify what you truly want. This sounds easy, right? But most people don't know what they really want. If you ask them right away, they'll say $1 million. But it's not the money. It's what the money can do. It's the taking care of their family. Whatever that is, it's the end thing you should be going for. That result, not what you think is going to get you there. And that's a part of the problem. So identify what it is that you really want. The positive, right? Eliminate the negative. It's important to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want, because that's what we do. Oh my God! I hope this doesn't happen. And bills, and I'm buried in bills, and all this, and what happens? More and more and more and more. Your mind works in pictures. Remember, and if you say I don't want to be mad, you're creating the vibration, the picture of being mad. You must create the opposite of what you don't want. So what's step 2? Well, step 2 is raise your vibrational level. Your only job in this stage is to create a vibrational match for what you want. That's pretty much how it works. But nobody knows how to accomplish that. Everything has that vibration of energy. Everything, not just physical matter, but thoughts and emotions and ideas as well. So in order to attract something into your life, you have to be on the same vibrational match of that. All right? So you have to get into how you would feel if you already had those things. How would you feel if you already had the perfect relationship? How would you act if you already had the perfect job and were making the money that you needed, right? How would you act if you had your retirement taken care of and you completely had the weight off of your back? Because the feeling that's created in the end is the feeling that you can use for deliberate creation now. Right? Your job is to identify what makes you feel good and do more of it. Right? Wow, it doesn't sound too hard. It's learning how just not to tolerate your negative feelings. Your feelings are just that. But your thoughts, they're not true. 99% of the time, the things that pop up in your mind, we take as the gospel truth, like the voice of God booming inside of our heads. 99% of the time, it is not the truth. Your mind will change its opinion on a dime. Your mind will change its opinion immediately if it's been proven wrong. Your mind is the worst. If you hired someone to audit your business or to work with you, and they were wrong as much as your mind is, you would fire them. But we don't. We don't even think twice about it, right? We let our mind run roughshod up there. So one thing you can do to start getting rid of these negative feelings is something I do every day. It's part of my morning and my evening routine. It's affirmations. It doesn't matter what you believe in, because prayer, affirmations, it's the same thing, right? You're affirming what it is that you want, right? It's a very important component to raise your vibrational level. And that's what we want to do, right? The law of attraction does not respond to words. It doesn't respond to thoughts that you think. It responds to how you feel. It responds to the vibration that you're putting off. So you have to be very careful how you think, because it creates the emotion and how you feel. Next, the easiest step of all, it's just release it and allow it. This is a big one, because you've got to let it go. You can't be worrying about it. When's it going to happen? How's it going to happen? Don't worry about the how. You worry about the end result of what you want, and then you release it, right? You're not going to get on the phone every day. Every time you order a sweater, and you're going to call up, every hour and ask where it is. You know it's going to arrive, right? That's what you do here. That is the number one thing we do when we screw up our manifestations, is either to worry about how it's going to happen and then try to figure it out, and that never works, or we just completely, we completely let it go. So the third thing is, you've just got to release it. Release it, release it, release it. Stop going over it. And finally, you've got to allow it. You've got to make room for it in your life. You have to be ready for it. If it's a trip to Paris you want, renew your passport. Maybe look at some places online, check out some hotels, whatever. But start getting in that mindset and start moving into the action. You just release your affirmation or your vibration, your feelings to the universe, to take care of your order. You put in your order, like the universe is a short order cook, right? You just have to abstain from doubt. It's just like anything else. You've got to believe, and the belief has to come first. It's not, I'll see it when I believe it. You will see it when you believe it. You have to believe it first. If you doubt you can have it, you'll never get it. If you don't think you deserve it, you'll never get it. You're not allowing it. You're literally pushing it away from you, because you're sending out all these contradictory messages. It's only when all of these contradictory thoughts and talk and images are removed and that roadblock is taken away, bam, your manifestations start to come. You'll get the desired results. Your manifestations will be here. They're already here. The idea has created them. Just the idea. They're just not in physical form yet, but you are blocking yourself from them. The faster you remove this resistance, the faster these dreams are going to become realized. So, questions or comments, drop them down below. I'm checking with you. I'm here live with you. It is 2:55 right now. The next part we're going to get into is so important, guys. So I want you to pay attention to this. I've got my notebook here, and I've got tons of notes for you guys. I want to show you. There's so much we're going to get to in this, because this idea of vibrational frequencies matching and harmonizing is so important. It's a vital step that everyone misses, in the law of attraction. So we're going to go into that. All right. I talked about this one time in a video, because I love this analogy. This analogy that Harry Potter, right? The Harry Potter franchise. And it always makes me think about this, right? In the Harry Potter movies, all the wizards have wands, right? And they use those wands to direct their magic. Now, all fiction comes from life. So where did this idea of, the wand and magic come together? Well, throughout history, we have seen so many magic people, magicians, wizards with these wands. right? So what do you need a wand for? I mean, is there any truth to that? Well, the thing is, yes, you do. It's just not the old symbolic, black wand with the white tips, right? The power of the wand is not in the wand itself. This is what everyone fails to realize. The power of the wand is not in the wand. Think about it. Think about that scene where Hermione is trying to open the door, right? That's locked. And she points her wand at it, and says the words, I think it's Alahomora. And bingo, right? The door opens. Now, let's go look at that. And before you start bitching at me, I realize it's fiction. We're going to take it as a metaphor, though, all right? First, it's a movie. Got it? Yes. Hermione was a witch, and she knew some magical crap. Got it. She used her wand to direct her power, right? That's what we're taking away from this. It's number 3. She used her wand to direct her power. She used that wand to direct her energy at what she wanted to create. Now, let's be clear about it, because she was clear. She had perfect clarity with what she wanted. Door open. It was this clarity that allowed the power of manifestation to come through. Now, she didn't point the wand and say, I kind of want the door open. She knew exactly what she wanted. She was very clear what she wanted. Then she directed her will. The wand is just a figurehead, is just a touchstone. The wand is meaningless. It's the intention. She willed it into being. She knew exactly what she wanted. And that's where the magic really is. If she didn't know what she wanted, then no words and no wand waving would have done anything. Nobody points a wand and says, I kind of want something, right? By the time the wand is out and the magic is being directed from the person, the vision is concrete. The need or the want is perfectly clear. This is the magic. Clarity and focused, unwavering attention. Intention. If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else, Yogi Berra. So true. If you had a magic wand, what would you create right now? Because you do. But you have to use it correctly, and we're all using it wrong. You have to learn how to harness your magical, creative mind. Why? Because that is the wand. Your imagination, your mind is the wand. Surety, clarity of purpose, and belief. That is the true magic. I have seen it over and over again. And it's not just in the movies. It's here in real life. Harry Potter resonates so deeply in our subconscious because it hooks into our own ability to create magic, just as surely as if we had one of those wands. The most powerful of wizards and witches, they don't need a wand or they don't need spells at all. They just clap their hands and they will it to happen. And they willed it with all their power behind it. Will, power. They willed it with their power. I promise you, as you grow, and your heart and your ability to imagine and believe and be grateful, you will be able to do real magic. And that's really what it is. Synchronicities and coincidences start to happen. And you can write them off all you want, but you are creating magic just as easily as anybody in the movies can do. Those movies stirred the truth of a greater, more magical world than Hogwarts, right? Because the wand is more than a tool. It's a force. It's an extension of intent. There's the body behind it, the being, and the power toward creation that drives every single action. So the wand was symbolic of the focusing of one's own power and focusing that power with clarity. That's the phenomenon behind Harry Potter. Everyone knows that there is magic out there, that there exist people who can manipulate their lives to their liking, and others seem like victims with no power. If we all have the same power, if we all have this amazing ability at manifestation, then why do some people succeed on the highest level and some people fail miserably. What is the thing that's missing? I'll tell you what it is. It's clarity. That is the missing key here. It's clarity. Clarity creates singular purpose. All parts of you begin to align and move toward that singular point because of unwavering clarity. So let me ask you a question. Where are you pointing your wand? Where are you giving your attention? Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. What you're looking at, what you're giving your focus on expands in your life. And that's why you want to make sure it's not something that you don't want. You don't want to be putting all your time and effort into BS from the past and worries about the future. You must live here in the now, right? And you have to learn to build your imagination muscles. Okay, how do you do that? Everyone goes to the gym nowadays, right? And they're working out their bodies, most of us. But nobody goes to the neuro gym, right? The gym inside their mind. And that's where we need to do a lot of work. You know, the science of frequencies and focused manifesting, it's been around forever. You know, it was given to us along with all these other gifts. But if you don't practice or master these techniques, then there's no amount of videos or talking or reading that's going to make you understand the law of attraction. You have to do it. The ideas and the concepts are important to sink in, right? And you have to accept them on a level of truth that you believe. But these concepts are not new. In fact, you know them already. Deep inside, you know them. You just need to be awakened again, right? Merely knowing these truths, though, or learning these master truths will not make you a master unless you master yourself and your ability to use your wand, your imagination, to create your dream life. You know, Einstein said imagination is everything. It's the preview of life's coming attractions. He also said imagination is more important than knowledge. Think about that, because that is profound, right? Now, I've heard a lot of pissed off people complain, you know, that they know everything about manifesting, but they can't do it. They aren't learning anything new. Obviously, they need to learn something because it's not working for them, right? A science is science. It's black and white. It's not gray. So many people have heard these messages before, but they've never gotten the message. So are you getting the message now, right? Understanding, comprehending is not doing. Despite knowing about this, knowing that this is your sixth sense, you know, if you don't use it or try to develop it, no amount of reading or watching videos is going to make you understand it any better. You have to practice, and you have to practice like a new muscle, right? At the gym. You can read about bodybuilding all you want from every expert in the world. But if you don't go into the gym and lift the weights, you're never going to achieve what you want. Learning to use your imagination is like learning to use new muscles. You need to practice. You need to improve. You need to find ways to make it real for yourself. Just like the bodybuilder, you already have all of the parts you need to manifest what it is that you want. But you need to put them in order, right? You need to power up your imagination power. You need to do some creative lifting in your life. Filling in your mind with what you want, that's a key. Again, most people don't even know what it is that they want. And the world that surrounds the new you that you want, it requires serious imagination. It requires creation with your mind, with your body, with your soul, working together. Each bit of you is involved, right? Sight and sound and senses. In the imagination of whatever it is that you want, in the imagination of the glorious thing, as Neville Goddard would say, the life that you want, the life that you've dreamed about. That dream is there for a reason, because it's yours. It's yours to have. Don't spend your entire life with some dream that you're never even going to try to accomplish, right? It doesn't feel easy at first. It doesn't feel fun at first. It feels like work, right? But if you love something, if you truly love it, if you truly desire it, then you'll really start to build that imagination bubble, and you'll stifle your fear. And then you become unstoppable. And your passion for it will take over and spiral you up into instant creation. What is it that you want? How much do you want it? You have to love the idea. You have to love what it's going to feel like when you have it. It has to be born from love. It can't be born out of fear and worry. And this wanting, that's not a desire or an intention. When it's something, we want to imagine, we're jealous of the neighbors. That is a different kind of wanting. That becomes daydreaming. It's not what you need to do here. It's very challenging at first. It's not fun. But as you press on through faith and through discipline, then your imagination muscle begins to strengthen. I promise you. That's what meditation's all about. When I first started meditating, I could not sit still for 2 minutes. I now sit still for 45 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening. And magic comes from that stillness. All the answers that you want to know come from that stillness. But meditation, pulling back your focus, that's not just for no reason. Every time you bring your focus back, if you're doing TM, it's bringing back to your mantra. If you're doing breath meditation, it's bringing your awareness back to your breath. But whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter, because what you're doing is you're building your focus. You're building your ability to pull your willpower from one thing to another. And that is creating inside you the ability to harness your mind power and focus it where you need it. That's how most successful people, everybody I've ever met, everybody I've ever worked with, that's how they do it. They are able to harness and focus and direct their mind power where it matters in their life. And by doing that, they attain their dreams, and you can too. And again, it'll be a little challenging at first, but there's no magic pill. At first, it'll be hard to get the images maybe in your mind. But I'll tell you, you can start, what does it smell like? What's in the air? What time of year is it? What does the air smell like? Creating it in your mind, your imagination is powerful. Remember, your mind can't tell the difference between thinking of something and doing it. Think about that. If you sit at a desk and imagine running a race, or you run the race, as far as your mind's concerned, you're doing the same exact thing. It can't tell the difference. Many people use this against us. Advertising agencies use these things against us. When you understand how your mind works, people can't control you anymore. Governments and media and advertising. When you understand what they're doing to you with your own mind, turning your own mind against you, then you'll start to very quickly and easily be able to run images and visualizations through your mind. You're creating this wonderful life, right? Instead of the illusion of what's around you. Whatever you create in your life, you have to first create in your mind. And not everyone is willing to put in the extra discipline in life to achieve things. They would rather just wait on the sidelines for whatever happens. Many people, misconstrue that they play no part in their lives other than just random desires and endeavors of the mind. And really, those lead them farther from where they want to be. The mind must be controlled. The mind must be directed. Otherwise, it's going to pull you down a dangerous road. Somebody else will control it and direct it for you. It'll start burping up old experiences, right? It'll remind you of fearful times from the past where you felt like a victim. This is the lie, and this is the work. Just like Cinderella, you got to sweep your mind clean of dark thoughts. You have to cling to that which you desire. It's not hard, but it takes dedication. You were born with a gift. We all were. It's always with you. It always will be. It'll be there until your dying breath, and then continue on. As children, we lived in a world of creation and imagination and magic. Castles weren't impossible. Neither was being an astronaut or a princess or a fireman. Anything was possible with your imagination. Throughout your life, it's been dulled. And now with social media and electronics and everybody strapped to their phones and their iPads, throughout life, you may have been disappointed. You may have experienced failure. You may have lost hope in your life becoming the beautiful story that you know it can be. But that life is still there. It is there waiting for you. It's waiting for you to get on the same frequency as it is. I assure you, it's just as your wonderful body is with you through your entire life. The same body that's there when you're 10, is that the body that's there when you're 70? Of course. Notice how we give up on our bodies, though. We get mad for being fat or not as beautiful as we want or aging, right? We get sick and then we're mad at our body for working against us, right? That's the body's fault too. In the wrong thinking man's mind, that is what they're doing all the time. For the body is always perfect, where the human's thinking is often not. When we finish, you should find your creative world of imagination as easy to step into as your everyday world, which is you walk in now. Everything is shifting and changing as your mind creates it. Now, God lives in your creation. Each work of love and joy you bring forth, it glorifies you, it glorifies God, it glorifies this connection that we all have. Each wonderful imaginative gift or idea you bring forth is not only a delight for you, but it's a delight for the divine whole. It's a delight for the rest of us. To control your imagination is everything. It's in the imagination that one first creates love or fear. So where are you creating from? Are you creating from love or are you creating from fear? Because if you are imagining fearful, horrible things, then guess what you're going to create in your world? You're going to be buried in it. You're going to be buried in it. If you're clinging to these imaginings you have of a beautiful world and a house and a family that you love, then you can create it and you can live in it. There is no going against this law. It's like you go jump off a cliff, the law of gravity is in effect. It's the same thing here. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. It's still working. But once you understand this, you have to make it your mission to defeat those low vibrational thoughts from your mind and consciously make that switch. Every time you do that, every time you become conscious of the current moment, you give yourself a little bit. You're putting a little bit of space between the thought and the overseer, which is you. And the more space you put in, the easier it gets to separate when something, before you get pulled into a fight, before you get pulled into something that's not a high frequency, you now have space to stand back and from a very strong power base, because you're not emotionally dealing with it in some weird, where you're angry or you're upset. You're dealing with it from strength, from power, and you're able to deal with it in a clear-headed way. It's powerful, So the next thing we're going to talk about as you move forward, right? You have to learn how to strengthen your mind. And one of the things that we always tell our clients to do, we do personal mindset mentoring. We have coaching students. And one of the first things we teach is an anchor image. It's an anchor image is an image you create inside your mind and you imbibe it with emotion and feeling. And then you are able to conjure up that image in your mind. And when that image comes forward, all of those positive emotions that you've attached come forward as well. And you know how this works. If you ever had a bad breakup, right? And the sight of your ex just gives you horrible anxiety, right? It was just a brutal breakup. Your ex drives a red pickup truck. Now, every time you see a red pickup truck, your stomach goes into a knot. And it gets closer and closer, then you realize it's not him. Then you go in the grocery store and you see somebody at a distance that looks like him, and all the knots come back. That's what we do. Good emotions we try to hold inside because we want to keep them. the new car, the first kiss, and we try to bundle the emotion and the thought, and we put it away. But the sad thing is the negative things. We don't want them, so what do? We take them inside, and we hold them inside with willpower. We don't let them go, because to do that would be to work through them. That's not what we do. We just take them and we shove them inside. And then it takes our life force energy to hold all these things inside of us. So how do you create an anchor image, and how is that going to work for you? Well, you have to learn to control your mind. That's the first step to manifesting anything, is controlling the tool, is controlling this immense power that you have inside. And so to be a master, you got to get your imagination as your ship, right? It's going to take you wherever you want to go. So don't get on a sinking ship. First rule, right? It's all about combating fear and strengthening your mind so that you can switch immediately from thoughts of fear and hopelessness of what you see in the outer world to the faith and the joy of what you want. Because if you live in the world, the outer world, that's the world of form and substance and physical things, as your primary reality, you're screwed. Because your primary reality is always your inner reality, thoughts, ideas, emotions. That is reality number one. And to live in the outer world first, man, that is a very, very bad thing to do, because it's going to keep you from manifesting your dream life. So don't live in the fear and the hopelessness out there, but live in the faith and the joy in here, inside of what it is that you want. They say within 15 seconds of a deep feeling, you create the vibration and you send that out. 15 seconds. That's great news. That means you have 15 seconds to catch yourself from going down a dark hole of hopelessness, from looping, from starting to ask yourself those low quality questions that you can't answer. Why do I suck? Why am I stupid? On and on and on. You fall down that hole, sometimes hours, days, weeks, lifetimes, and we never realize we've done it. So anytime you can catch yourself before you go into that hole, that is a win. You swing your thoughts back from what you don't want or what you're obsessing about to focusing on what you want. So, our goal is to send out strong, positive messages. Every time you do this, you kind of power up your manifestation. Again, this is work. It's not easy. It's worked for me. It's worked for our students. It's worked for the people I've worked with all over the world. And some of the most successful people, actors, actresses, politicians, professional athletes, they all have mentors. They all understand that if there's something they don't know, they're going to find out how it works. They're going to understand it. There's so much out there we don't understand. Doesn't mean you can't find out. You can't start learning. There's a difference between a master and a student, and that's the amount of effort you're willing to put in. A master masters his thoughts. He chooses which thoughts he allows to dwell in his mind. It's his house up there. He's not caught by fear. He's emboldened by love and by faith. So how do we build this strength of mind? I'm going to get into that next. Now remember, if you have any questions or comments, you can drop them into the question box below. Everyone is sucking life out of me. Energy vampires, that's what they are. People that suck the life out of you, we call those energy vampires. Those are the people you walk up to, and you say, how are you today? Oh, and then they tell you their 20-minute story and it sucks all your energy out. That's an energy vampire. It's best to stay as far away from them as you possibly can. If you have any more questions, comments, drop them into the box. If you're watching this as a replay later, well, I appreciate that. I don't care when you watch it. And you have a question, something I'm talking about now or something you've heard us talk about before, drop that into the comments as well. We check these all the time. All right. So how do we build that strength of mind? Well, it's the anchor image, and we're going to find one for you right now. So we're going to do this together. And we have clients that are able to do it immediately, and they have an image they can bring up and have such emotion attached to it. It's literally like having a magic wand, that tool, right? So we're going to find one for you. So right now, I want you to close your eyes And I want you to imagine that you are grinning from ear to ear. Biggest smile you have ever felt on your face. You got that? Good. Keep your eyes closed. Now, where are you? Who's with you? What is this scene of pure happiness that you've imagined? Now, maybe you're clutching $100 bills in your hand. You're yelling, I'm rich. I have so much money. You're throwing money in the air. I can help everyone. I never have to work again. Great. So you imprint that image. That's going to be your special image as your anchor image. So you got to find something where you're feeling pure joy, something that makes you happy, right? You have to attach the feeling to that image. This is the image you're going to use to divert your mind every time it begins to work against you by throwing up your fear or your past failures, right? But you have to attach the feeling to that image. And then each time you catch yourself not believing or thinking defeatist thoughts, you switch immediately to your anchor image. Let's say it's you, right? You're smiling. People you love all around you. You're tossing $100 bills in the air, whatever. It's the beginning of your training of your mind. It's getting control of your mind. As soon as you recognize a negative thought and you feel doubt creeping in, stop. Just stop. It doesn't get any easier or simpler than that. Just stop the thought. Because so much of what we do is unconscious. The moment that you bring awareness to it and you catch yourself, you've won. You are refusing to let that thought take form. Instead of getting caught up in it, looping into it, you catch it immediately. When that negative thought happens, as soon as you realize it, you stop. Count backwards, right? Whatever you got to do, 3, 2, 1, whatever. It gets you out of that rut. It keeps you from getting pulled in there. Now, quickly, right away, with intention, you flip to the anchor image, what it is that you want. That's the work. Stop that negative thought of what you don't want and turn right to your anchor image to remind you that this is what you're creating. Okay? So whatever it is that you want, put yourself in a picture. Okay? If it's a house that you want, a beautiful new home for your family, see your family in this house. See yourself outside in the backyard, at the swimming pool, whatever it is. If there are other things in your life, obviously your children, maybe when your children were born, other things where you can conjure up that feeling, that family, that love feeling, do that and the anchor image. Bring up those feelings, bring up your anchor image, because eventually what's going to happen, this is for those people that, really are having a hard time. They're very negative, that have a hard time creating this sort of thing. We're going to do a little cheat here. It's a little mind hack. We're going to create the feeling of something else that gives you joy and happiness. And then by bringing up the anchor image, over time, you're transferring that feeling. And eventually, when you bring up the anchor image, all those feelings come along with it that you've transplanted. So maybe the first kiss you ever had, maybe, when your first child was born, maybe you just got a new puppy or something, whatever it is. If you need to cheat, that's okay, because it's all about belief, and nobody is doing this but you. You don't have to tell anyone. You don't have to check in with anyone. You don't have to tell me what you're doing. This is you. You have no one that you're responsible to here. It's all you. Stop the negative thought when it happens. Go to your anchor image. Remind yourself of what it is that you're creating. Negative thoughts need to be grabbed immediately. You need to beat their ass and throw them out. You got to halt them, because otherwise they're going to live up there. They're going to live rent-free in your mind, right? So you got to be careful. Got to be careful. So I'm with you. We're live. And hold on. I'm just checking the group for just a second. Where are we? Checking the group. Good. Okay, good. Questions or comments, drop them down below, right? And please, nobody, don't be dumb enough to inbox this guy for his spiritual reading. As soon as we get through with this, we'll delete this. Okay. So that's one thing we don't allow in this group. So if you're trying to sell something or trying to give your phony readings to bilk people, you're not going to last here very long. I promise you, it doesn't work here. So let's go back. All right. So it's work, right? You got to stop those negative thoughts. You have to bring up the anchor image, reminding you of what it is that you want. You got to continue to use that image to stay positive. And feel free anytime to add color to it, to add feelings, words, images, smell, whatever you can do that will bring that feeling to your anchor image. So you continue to use that, and always feel free to embellish it, right? And remember, it's not your job to figure out how it's going to happen. It's just your job to act on the signs if and when they come. As soon as you master your own thoughts and your own mind, well, the universe will align with you. It will align with that image. It will start sending you signs on how to get on the path you want to desire. Synchronicities happen. Coincidences happen. But you got to remember to follow the signs. We need to enact all parts of ourselves. Remember, mind, body, spirit. We have to do the actions we're prompted to take. Right? Without the action step, you'll never manifest what you want. You can't allow your mind to worry you into action just for the sake of action. You have to follow the signs, and they will happen. You won't have to look too hard. You won't have to dig around for them. You won't have to go somewhere else and try to find them. They will come into your world. But you've got to be ready for them. The spirit will give you these signs. The universe will give you these signs. These are the signs that your dream can be delivered, but you have to take some action. If you are somebody that knows everything about manifesting and still can't make it work, if you're not happy, you're not abundant, you're not in a loving relationship, if you're missing something, the only culprit is your mind. That's the only culprit. Because you can't master the law of attraction by watching this video, by reading about it. If you master your mind, then you master manifesting. And then, boom, you've done it. So the first step, mastering your mind. Because until you do that, no amount of material information or secrets are going to help you. I want to be your wake-up call today. Aren't you done waiting? Aren't you done waiting to be everything that you can be? Let's get it right, and let's get it right now. You can do this. The first and the foremost critical thing is being able to control your mind. Mind control is not controlling the minds of others. Mind control is controlling our own mind. Because once we get control, we get our power. We take our power back. If you control your own mind, others can't control it. Your mind is your compass. Wherever you point it, it's going to go. If you fill that mind with fear and hopelessness, guess where it's going? If you continually switch your mind back to that which you want, what you desire, to your anchor image, it will make its way to you. It's the law of attraction, the law of affinity, the law of frequency attunement. It's not a maybe. It's not a just sometimes. It's a law. It takes work, but the rewards are extraordinary. It's a life of abundance on every single level. So I want to talk about one more thing today, and it's programming yourself. Because to get control of your mind, the first thing you have to do is clear out that old, rusty, bad programming. We're all programmed. From the moment that we're born, we are programmed. The moment we come into this world, by our parents, teachers, coaches, the media, the government, society at large, we're programmed. We're programmed with their ideas, their ideals, their religions, their feelings, their fears. When we're kids, everything's amazing. Everything's magic. We go to school, they beat that out of us, right? We are told to conform. We're put into desks. We're told to be like everyone else. And it beats that out of us. We all become the same. It's conformity. And so many people have such low self-esteem, and that puts off such low frequency patterns. And when does that happen? When is that instilled in us? It's instilled in us before we're 10. That is when our subconscious mind is in record mode. That's when your subconscious is recording everything around you. That is when your thought patterns and your belief patterns are created. And it's those rusty programs that are running inside your mind right now. They're destroying your life. They're keeping you from joy and happiness. Those very first programs, they've become lifelong self-fulfilling prophecies. Because you were patterned with a certain frequency before you were 10. You pulled in that pattern. And now you believe you're stuck there. You believe you are stuck in this life. And it's not true. That is the real big lie. You can change your pattern by changing your frequency. But you got to get in there and dig out your old program. You got to replace it with the one you want. And that's why positive thinking never works on just a surface level. Just positive thinking only gets your surface mind. It never gets to the subconscious, which is where the programming is. That is where the heart of their supercomputer is, in the subconscious. So anything that you're doing is only going, if you're doing it in the middle of the day, you're working on something, you're trying affirmations, those are great, but you're only working on your outer mind. There has to be one spoke of the wheel. You have to be able to get into the subconscious as well. That is how you get into that rusty old programming and you make the changes. You dig it out. This is how you know your past is just a story. It's just a story. Your life is just a bunch of stories you tell yourself. And now you can claim your throne in your life. I know people that, change their entire life just from one book, like Think and Grow Rich. There's people who made that their life mission. They read that book over and over and over, became multimillionaires because of the intense focus, the intention, the understanding that you got to have attention, focus behind your willpower. It's immersion in new and higher thoughts. Those things take over in our lives. They become the dominant thought and we become successful beyond anything you can imagine. What do you want? In my career, I've earned millions of dollars. I've been in a great relationship for years. I have the things that I want. What do you want? Because you can have them and you should have them. Those dreams came to you for a reason. Those are things that you should have. It's not just for some people. He can have it and I can't. It's me versus him. We're all one. We're all together. You need to reprogram, repattern yourself. If you're not wealthy, if you're not healthy, if you're not happy, if you're not madly in love, then you have to reprogram, repattern yourself now. You're never going to manifest good things from low frequencies. So in order to harmonize with all the loving and the divine things, you've got to get to that level. That's the only way that you're going to do it. Thanks, Ty. Appreciate it. Any other questions or comments? Drop them down there. I am looking. We are live. So remember, if you're not getting everything you want right now, then you can make the change. In fact, only you can. No one else can. So you're never going to get the things you want if they're, the things that you love, the things that where the joy, the bliss, if you're vibrating on a low frequency. One of the most potent sources we give to all of our clients to help them reverse their bad programming is, you can listen to mass affirmations. You can listen to those while you sleep. There's all sorts of things you can do to program your mind. You can get in there before you go to sleep in those moments between being awake and being asleep when you can get into the subconscious. Higher frequency patterns will start to happen that will put you in a place where you can attain and attract the things that you want. This time, we're going to do it on purpose. When you were a kid, it wasn't done that way. Things were ingrained in us by repetition, just like you train a dog. But we had no choice. It was just done to us. Now, we get to make the choice. We get to do it with purpose. We get to create a better program. So what do most people have to deal with? Well, the thing they need to overcome right away is self-worth. They need to overcome wealth patterns. They have to understand, do you have a mindset of abundance or a mindset of lack? Are you coming from a place where, money is hard to get, where people that have money are evil, where, is that your mindset? Because if it is, you're never going to have money. You have to make room for these things in your life. So we want this to sink in subconsciously. We want to create that program that's better, that's new, that's not out of date and rusty like the one you have now. There are all kinds of options. You can watch videos on YouTube. We have tons on our channel. It's youtube.com, Brent Webb Official. But it's check out our channel, Empowerment TV. We've got tons of videos for this. We've got affirmations, visualizations. These things will change your life. Maybe not separately, but they do together. Because what happens is, you're working off this rusty, faulty programming your whole life, and you don't realize it. The moment that awareness comes to the idea that this programming is inside you and that it may not be serving you now, things start to happen quickly. Because now you are no longer oblivious. You understand. You're no longer sabotaging yourself on a subconscious level by this mind that we don't even realize is running. So whatever it is that you need to do, you definitely want to meditate. You use affirmations, visualizations, anchor image, whatever you can do to change those negative thoughts, to change those thoughts of lack to thoughts of abundance, to create the belief pattern in yourself that you deserve what it is that you want. If you feel really inspired, do what I used to do. Record yourself saying the affirmations. It takes some work, but imagine if it's your own voice saying the affirmations and you listen to those while you go to sleep, or maybe for 15 minutes on your lunch break or something. It's harder. It's not as easy, but it's so much more worth it, right? Listen to the recording of your own voice. Be disciplined. All good follows from this work when you do it. It's because what it is, it's the divine work of bringing more love, because that's what you're doing. More love for yourself, more love for your family, more love ultimately for all of us, because we're one. The love that you give yourself illuminates the rest of us. It illuminates the rest of the lost. So be the love, be the light, be the director of your destiny, and stop being the victim. The simple information I gave you already today is all you need. Everything that you need is in this video. I'm going to go a little farther because I don't want to leave you until we talk about how to stay high frequency, because that's the problem. People can attain that, but it's very hard to keep that high frequency level. And that is because we make choices every day, hundreds, thousands of choices, but we make them, right? Nobody does for us. And now that you know about frequency levels, and that where you resonate brings you more of the same, you have to start making your choices with this question. Is this the highest frequency choice? Each time you choose a higher frequency or a frequency filled with more love, okay, you raise your own core frequency. Remember, law of attraction, like attracts like. If you have an amazing frequency, then all good things will be magnetized to you. The best thing you can do is to stay in the highest frequency possible simply by choosing things in your life that are high frequency. That is the real magic. It's not in, a genie's bottle or some hidden book. It's the divine work of creating love vibrations that rock the world and shoot back to you like a boomerang. That's how it works. It's the gym of your mind. You don't have to lift weights here. Changing from hopeless and sad and dour, changing from that vibration is difficult. It's challenging. But if you want your dream, it's a must. If you're in a low frequency, you're never going to attract great things. You have to hoist yourself up and fill yourself with more love and more happiness. Now, this can definitely be a catch-22 situation. If you dedicate yourself to raising your frequency, all good things will start to follow, though. But only you can do this. No one can do it for you. So are we in a higher frequency in a meditative state, or you're definitely in a higher frequency if when you're meditating, unless you can get yourself in your normal state of mind you've got to use something, an anchor image or something, to get yourself into the feeling, right? You've got to give yourself the feeling of joy, of love, of bliss, to create that. Meditation kind of does it for you by getting into it, depending on what you're doing. Are you doing mantra meditation? Are you doing breath? What kind of meditation are you doing? Because it depends. So again, only you can do this. Nobody else. The alternate thing is to spend the rest of your life being miserable and being sick, and not to mention sad and depressed, and you're gonna regret all the things you didn't do. Maybe you need more confidence, self-assurance, whatever it is. We need to fix what we don't love about ourselves. Because where we don't love ourselves and where we don't believe in ourselves, that's where we block our dreams from coming in. That is how we fall victim to the lie of only what we see. You have to understand we're all programmed. And to repair our programs, we need to put in new ones. That's as simple as it is. We have to create those patterns of self-worth and of confidence and of joy, instead of these patterns that we're not good enough, that we're too fat, that we're this and we're that. Money abundance is just another part of discipline that you need. What's sabotaging you that you can't get a hold of? Because what's underneath the conscious mind is that subconscious. I'm reading your comment. Yeah, half asleep, the moment that you are between being awake and being asleep is when you can get into the subconscious. It's when you're really in that high frequency. And that's a tricky time. And if you're using binary music or beats or something, that's great. And I do the same thing, and I listen to the same thing before sleep. But yeah, that moment before, those moments before you're asleep, you're awake and you're going to sleep, same thing in the morning. Those moments, those first few moments are powerful, because it's the time you can get into the subconscious, and also those are the times you want to put out that high frequency. You want that high frequency moment, right? You got whatever it is, more confidence, whatever it is, stop falling prey to the lie that what we see is all there is. You're either in flow or you're not. Oprah said that. It's true. You have to know the universe, God, source has your back. The faith is the part of the answer. Faith, though, isn't just religion. And that's the thing. Faith has been perverted into just religion, and it isn't. Faith you must have in yourself. Belief you must create in yourself in order to uncork this power, because it's in you, dormant, inside. It needs to be turned on. And to get to that, you're looking through all this bullshit, this haze, this smoke. It's keeping you. There's a smoke screen between you and the button. You have to clear that out. Now, think about Oprah. She's manifested billions of dollars. And think of the odds against her. A woman, poverty, racism, everything. And then the day when she came up, right? And she tells a great story where her grandmother, was teaching her grandmother was a maid and was teaching her how to fold clothes, and you're going to need to learn this. And she said her grandmother was showing her all these things, and she knew, I don't need to learn this. I'm never going to do that. Just from a very small age, she didn't let anybody tell her different. She knew what she wanted and she went after it. Now she can manifest without affirmations or vision boards or anything else, because she's a powerful manifester. She knows how to do it. She's hung on to that idea that she's the master of her destiny. She's the captain of her soul. And if you understand that, then everything follows from it. When you believe that, that's it. That was Oprah's thing, right? I'm the master of my destiny. She had that on her mirror. We're all well aware that she became that force. Look at what she did for herself, for the world, for all of us, right? All this amazing work she's done on the planet. If money is king, then Oprah's queen. And she changed her poverty victim patterns, and she became the true master of her destiny. You're really creating your reality. You're creating your universe as you move, as you go through life. And I'm going to teach you one more thing. I'm going to teach you one more trick and one more thing that you can do. And this is actually something you can do right before you go to sleep. And this is something that we call the Nighttime Vortex. And if there's only one thing that we could teach you, as far as the law of attraction, this would probably be it. Because it's powerful, but it's also very tricky to conquer it. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'll use an example for you. Okay. We had a client who wanted a home, big, beautiful home. Okay. Money, big house. So she created an anchor image. She was holding money in her hand, jumping up and down in front of her new house, right? Perfect image. Now, the anchor image, much like the anchor image we created earlier, right? It acts as a vehicle to get into the feeling, because that's what we're doing. It gets you into the feeling. So you start feeling as if, and it creates the frequency, those waves that attract back to you what you want. It happens automatically. And then so you're saying, why doesn't it show up automatically? Well, there's two reasons. I mean, first, you're confusing your desire and mixing signals that you're sending out. And often, obviously, things need to be prepared outside your realm of influence, right, for things to come to fruition. If your desire doesn't show up, it doesn't mean you failed. The law of attraction is like gravity. Gravity doesn't fail. Now, you're saying, I can see gravity work all the time. It's something I can count on. And so is frequency attunement. You're a creator. You're the director. You're the artist of your life. Some creations will take longer than others to become what you truly want. So you can use this nighttime vortex to pull your creation into reality. And you can do that through dream time. Because as we get into those moments, before you go to sleep, those quiet moments, we slip into a more open subconscious programming. That's when we can change that old, rusty, out-of-date crap that's in us. It's the most potent time to manifest. You know, lately, there's been Nobel Prize winners in medicine, and they were awarded these for finding out how important timing is to making a medicine more effective. You know, they found that certain medicines work better at certain times. So if you eat during certain hours every day, you'll lose weight. Whereas if you eat during other hours, maybe not so much. Timing is important. So use the time before bed and also the time in the morning when you're rising, before you rise actually, to create and supercharge your manifestations quickly. Decide what you want to manifest. Remember, you want to go to Paris? Well, don't never go to bed without envisioning eating a croissant in Paris, looking at the Eiffel Tower, seeing the twinkling lights. Never go to sleep without seeing that in your mind, without feeling it. And you're not sleeping in your bed, you're sleeping in the bed of the hotel in Paris. Go to sleep with that feeling. That is how you end the day. That is how you go into the night. That is how you marinate for the next 8 hours. That is what you want on your mind, because then you're putting out that vibration while you're sleeping. You seek to create the most authentic, imaginable world and what it would be like if you lived in it now. That's what we're going for, the feeling. Create images in your mind as it is. You're going to hear it over and over again. You have to act like it's already happened. You want to go to Paris? You're in Paris. Before you go to bed at night, imagine yourself in another part of the city. See yourself at a show. See yourself, walking along the banks. Whatever it is, supercharge those manifestations. When you start running out of ideas, jump on YouTube. Watch some videos about Paris. Renew your passport. Look at ticket prices. Look at hotels. It's work, yes. It's not, the magic pill syndrome. But you got to find ways to stay immersed in that world until you fall asleep. Watching YouTube videos, you can find everything in the world on YouTube. That's a great way to do it. Choose sites and events in Paris. You're creating yourself on a trip to Paris in your mind before you go to sleep. Maybe you're at a pastry class or something, right? You see the hustle and bustle in the early morning streets. You smell the fresh baked bread and the coffee. Imagine it, imagine it, imagine it, imagine it. Talk to imaginary people, drink imaginary cappuccinos, laugh at imaginary jokes, create the feeling until you fall asleep. Doing this each night with whatever it is that you want. Obviously, we're using Paris here, but you can do anything. And you'll draw it to you quicker than any other hack I can tell you. If you master this process alone, this nighttime vortex process, you will become the master you seek to be. This can put you into a place where you've made room in your life for what it is you want. You have to be ready for it. You have to be ready to accept it into your life. It seems easy. That's why everybody and their brother has written a book on the law of attraction. Everybody's got a video. Everybody's telling you how to do it. Most people who are telling you how to do it have never done it. They've never worked with people who have done it. They've never come from decades of experience in doing it, working with, the greatest minds in the world. Everybody from monks to religious leaders to presidents, prime ministers. The people that are successful in whatever their business, whatever life that they're creating, they're doing it because of their mind power. And the ones that are going through struggle, it's created in the mind. That's why you see people like Kate Spade or Anthony Bourdain that seem to have it all. They have looks, they have money, they have fame, and they kill themselves. Right? There's always something. So if you have a hard time imagining things, do whatever you have to do. Do whatever you have to do. Just be diligent. Try another picture. Try a song. Whatever it is, you got to fire up your love for that thing because that's a game changer. Everything is created from love. Even evil is created from a lack of love. The evil in the world is coming from a lack of love. So just remember, before you fall asleep in the world you wish to be in, just like you're in it. But you don't fall asleep wishing you were in it. You fall asleep in it. You wake up in it. You get out of your bed. You start your day. You declare all good coming your way and how grateful you are for everything you've received. Gratitude. You put out the feeling of being grateful. You get more to be grateful for. Of all the hacks, I spent 30 years learning about the mind, learning about our immense power, traveling the world. And for everything that I've ever learned and everybody I've ever worked with, the easiest way to get around whatever block it is in your life, this is the most effective. Deliberate creation before you go to sleep and when you wake up in the morning. That's how you can jumpstart it. That's how you can start creating that belief if you're finding it difficult. If you get nothing else from this group, from our video series, from our posts, take this. Use this idea, this nighttime vortex in creating, and you will get quicker manifestations than you have ever done. I guarantee it. Just understand you are part of the infinite whole, right? You're only about 0.01% matter in this 99.99% space-filled world. We're all connected by this space, and that's mostly all we are. Einstein said we could study the aspects of matter down to the tiniest things, but no one really understood what the space was. Einstein surmised that this space was God. Even current science has identified the God particle fills all space, energy, and force. You are that force. 99.99% of you is that force. It's that force that flows through you. That force is mostly what you are. So don't get caught in the belief that your 99.99% God force can't create what it wants in a world that is barely made up of 0.01% matter. You're creating the matter. You are the creator in the third dimension, so start creating. Napoleon Hill once said, "Man alone has the power to transform his thoughts into physical reality. Man alone can dream and make his dreams come true." And that's the truth. When you were born, your cells were already 1 billion years old. You're made up of stardust. You're made up of the universe. Let that sink in. You're made up of stardust, and your cells never really die. You change form, but you're not a third dimensional being. You are not a human being trying to have a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being temporarily having a human experience. Most humans are blindsided by what they see and what they call reality, but they can only see 0.01%, and they're stuck in the belief that 0.01% they see is more powerful than the 99.99% they can only feel. Imagine what you could achieve, and you could heal, and you could manifest if you truly let this truth sink in. This is where the master separates from the student. A student will only believe what he sees or what he's been taught based on the workings in the third dimension, in the outer world, in reality. A master sees around the limitations and knows this world of matter is just an illusion. We are infinite. We are powerful. We have unique perspectives. We only cast ourselves into bodies so we can play in this dimension. We can experience separation and feeling loss and death. But these are just things in the outer world, right? Once we rise out of the matter world of the third dimension, there's no separation anymore. The space that houses what we now know as the God particle has always been, will always be, the majority of what we're made of. You know, I used to get sick all the time. Now, I just refuse to get ill. How many people do that? Just my luck. Oh, I get sick at least twice a year. Oh, the cold season's here again. I refuse to accept that 0.01% matter part of me is more powerful than the 99.99% of me that's eternal. So when we're born, our cells are 1 billion years old. Why are we aging? We can make our world if we truly understand and create from this understanding. Can you separate yourself enough now to realize that most of you is filled with the miracle that you already seek? But it's in, it's not out. It's inside, not outside. We all look in the outer world for the person, the man, the woman, the job, this, that will make us happy, that will give us peace. When it's something you grant yourself first, and then you receive it in the outer world. If you grasp this, then all things will and must come to you. When you truly believe and understand, your reality is true for you. What you believe is true for you. And as dumb as that sounds, and as hokey as that sounds, and as many times as people have said that, it's absolutely true. When you truly believe and understand that you are manipulating matter and not being manipulated by it, then you are a master of your destiny. You are a master of creation. You are a master of manifestation. And you're manifesting all the things that you want in life. Right? Me either. Rarely ever gotten sick in my life. A lot of people do that though. They say, you know, it's like I said, it's flu season. That's a big one, right? I get sick at least 3 times a year. Whatever you say, you affirm to yourself. And once I stopped doing that, I haven't had a cold in years. It's just crazy what the mind can do. The placebo effect is so powerful and so strong in our mind. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It doesn't matter how you think it works. It doesn't matter if you think it's magic, if you think it's your subconscious mind. All we know is that it works. You just have to learn how to use it to your advantage. All right. So if you're not a member of our Facebook community, well, you should be. And you're probably already a member because you're in the group watching this. But in case you're watching it on YouTube, we want to give you that address. It is Students of Self-Empowerment, because we are there helping each other, empowering each other, teaching how to attain the life that we want. Self-empowerment. It's taking control of your own life. Mind power is controlling your own mind. It's letting go of the crap that no longer serves us, setting goals and reaching them, making positive choices and not worrying about all the bullshit that we live with each and every day in our lives. We are brainwashed by what's going on around us. This world is just an illusion. You know, they're telling us that we're not thin enough, that we're not rich enough, that, you know, if we have this cookie, it'll make us feel better. If we wear, you know, these shoes, people will like us. It's all bullshit, right? So you got to know the tools, how to do this. So self-empowerment, we are all students of self-empowerment. So it's facebook.com/groups/students of self-empowerment. You'll also find our YouTube channel. We have over 250 videos. That's a lot of videos. Over 250 videos. There's something there for almost everyone, no matter where you are on your journey. You'll find something there. You'll find it there at youtube.com/Brent Webb Official. It's empowerment television. The 3 A's: acknowledge, activate, and achieve. Acknowledge where you are right now, not the sugar-coated version, not the version you show to the neighbors, the real where are you. Acknowledge your real position in life, and then activate the tools that we give you. Activate them in your life to start making positive changes, and then achieve the transformation that you've been waiting for. It's all possible. It's all probable. It's all easy if you know the steps. And if you start making those positive, lasting changes in your life. We make so much change, but none of it lasts. Transformation is real. Change isn't enough. We want to transform. We want to be the butterfly. You can't go back and become the caterpillar, right? Because it's transformed. That's what we're going for. Don't forget, if you need a little more assistance, even the most successful people in the world have mentors. I have one. I've had several over my career. Whatever you are struggling with in your life, it has to do with your mindset. And by getting your mindset in order, everything on the outside changes. Your outside world changes too. Some house cleaning, some steps, and then taking control and taking responsibility for where you are. And then you can change the outcome of your story. And you can end up at wherever it looks like your story's going, you can rewrite that ending. If you need some assistance, you need some extra help, you need some mindset coaching, you need a mindset mentor, check out my website, brentwebb.com. Everything you need there for you. I'll be back tomorrow with a new episode of the Mind Power Minute. We have a good one for you tomorrow. Also, check out the group. We've got a lot of posts today. We're trying to cover some different topics each and every day. So check out the group. There's some great stuff in there today. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Go out and enjoy yourself. Thank you guys for all watching out there. If you're watching this later, we love you too. Questions, comments, anything you want to talk about, drop them into the messages below, and I'll cover them next time. I'll see you back here. Don't forget, don't worry, be happy, and feel good. See you tomorrow.